Welcome to another episode of the Jenny Powers Show. My name is Jenny Powers. This is episode 4. We have 3 in the books, and we are on a mission to empower women everywhere to live their best lives. So before I share or get into what we're going to talk about today, I just wanted to share 2 things. One, I came home and my 7-year-old had left this book on my bed, knowing that I was launching my show, and it says, "When You Are Brave." And I just have to share that moment because those are the things that you remember, and also that kids know. Kids are so smart. My 2 kids believe in me. They see none of the disbelief, none of the doubts, none of the fears. Here comes the construction again. But we're doing this. Nothing. I can't be stopped. They see you for who you really are. So surround yourself with kids in some capacity. They have such innocence and such belief. And so I have a book that says, "When You Are Brave." That inspires me to keep going. The other thing I wanted to share is that yesterday in our episode, we talked about when you're enough and saying that you're enough. And yesterday evening, I walked around doing the work and saying, I am enough, I am enough, I am enough. And it was amazing what came to me. My epiphany was that I think if I stop kicking my own ass, if I stop being hard on myself, if I stop pushing myself and saying that I'm not enough, that I'll give up, that I'll lose my work ethic and my drive and my determination to make my dreams come true. And what I realized is that's ingrained in me. That's not going anywhere. That's been in me since I was born. And being hard on myself and being the inner critic and judging the results that I have as less than what I want is exhausting me. So saying that you are enough, just because you say you're enough in this moment, doesn't mean that you strive to be more and want to accomplish more and be the fullest embodiment of yourself. But I'm going to start saying that right now I'm enough, and I might want to be more, and I want to grow and evolve and inspire and empower a bigger audience. But saying that I'm enough is the way that I get there, because when we are the wind at our own backs, we get there faster. And then, as I said yesterday, if we are so busy tearing off our own wings. So that was my epiphany from yesterday. What I wanted to talk about today, and this huge shout out to my friend Rima for this inspiration. We had a really amazing conversation today, and it just inspired me to talk about this. And that is that we as women must support each other. We must be the wind at each other's backs, not only for ourselves, but for each other. I think that we can spend so much energy being competitive and jealous. Please, I am the first to do this. I am the first to struggle with comparisonitis. Melissa Ambrosini, who's a brilliant author, writes about this in her book. And I know for me, it's a focus of staying in my lane and focusing on my goals and my inspiration and the dreams that I have. But I think that there's so often we as women can tear each other down. I mean, I look at the way that men treat each other and the way that we treat each other, and it's so different. And I have to say, in full disclosure, I have failed a million times as a friend. I have hurt other women. I have not been my best self. I have put myself first and acted selfishly and really had a lot of learning lessons in terms of being the best friend and just an overall great woman to other women in the world. So I am walking the walk too. I am learning every day to be the most, inspired and empowered version of myself, and to really support other women in the way that I can. And so what I wanted to share today is a huge thank you to all of the women in my life, to my friend Rima, to my sister, to my friend Alex, to all of my friends, Nikki and Ruthie and Jess, and a million new friends, to my cousin Emily, to, so many women that support me, my friend Elisa, Lauren. There are just people that at different points in my journey, you've supported me, and I know I'm not naming everybody, and so you know who you are. You are my people, you're my girl gang. But to just recognize that in the moments where I've stopped believing, in the moments where I've lost the vision or I've lost the path, they've reminded me of it. In these little moments, I go live on Instagram or I post something, and they are my biggest cheerleaders. And for me, I see these moments and I think, God, it's so small and it's not that big a deal. And they hold the space for me. And so I really wanted to share the page in my book that is dedicated to my friends. And so and to all the women. It's not just my friends. It's to a woman in the grocery store who said, "I saw your show and you don't know me, but you really inspired me. Keep going." Or to Tracy Litt and Gabby Abrams and, my mentors and the people that have believed in me, Candace from Divas That Care. Again, I could go on and on and on and on and on. I never want to leave out anybody, but again, the list is so long, so you know who you are, my people. But this is dedicated to all of you, to every single woman who has believed in me. To my friends, you are extraordinary. You have opened your hearts in a way that has given me the space in this world to learn, to connect, to feel, to express, to hurt, to heal, to release, and to surrender to everything. You have loved and supported me at every step of the way. You have walked with me as I have found my way. I would never be where I am without you. I know that. Today, I honor your hearts, your wisdom, your compassion, your spirit, your love, and your support. As women, we must help each other. In this world, we can spend so much time tearing each other down, but we must stop. We must lift each other up. We must encourage and support each other along the way. We must be the wind at each other's backs, because the only way that we will each get to our dreams is if we hold hands. So that is just a part of my book. And again, I always want this to be learning and helping and growing and tools and resources that we all grow together. So for me, this is a moment to celebrate the people in my life. And one other thing I have to share is, as I was figuring out what to wear for this episode, there was this large voice in me. And quite honestly, I think it's come from a lot of women in my past telling me, who does she think she is? And that's too much. And oh, that's a little sexy, or that's too much of everything. And I was going to wear a hooded sweatshirt, and instead I decided to wear pink sparkly sequin dress to say, this is me, and this is me and my power and my light and my glory and, you know, all of my sexuality and all of my femininity. And I had the most extraordinary experience back when I lived in LA about 10 years ago. I pole danced in a pole dancing studio called S Factor for about 8 years. And I was surrounded by this group of women. We were in class together 2 hours almost every day. And we called it the Get It Girl Tribe. And we were the wind at each other's back, saying, the more you shine, the more you grow, the more you empower your biggest, boldest, badass self, the more I've got you, and the more you inspire me. And in that class and with that group of women, I felt like the more I connected to the lioness inside of me, to the queen, to the goddess, the more I was supported and the more I was lifted up and the more I was just cherished and really seen. And so that experience really taught me that when you are all of you, when you are stepping into your biggest power and owning who you are in every capacity, there will be a tribe of women that will have your back unconditionally. I will be first in line to support you. And the other thing that I want to share is I think society wants to dim our light. I think there's so much, there's a page in my book called Let Nobody Put You in the Corner, and it's inspired by Dirty Dancing and also by Footloose. And I had an experience where I was teaching these classes and I had use of a studio for the night, my first kind of dance classes, and they told me literally that I had to take out the word sexy in my marketing or else they wouldn't let me use the space. And I remember thinking, is this like the 1900s? This is so odd. And from that day forward, I said, you know what? I'm going to be me. I'm going to teach what I want, talk about what I want, empower in the ways that I know to be true, embody my sexiest, most powerful self. And if people are threatened by that, then that's not my problem. But the more that we dim our light, the less we are owning who we are. And so I think the other part, of our society is that we as women are encouraged to be smaller. We are on the cover of magazines with, lose 20 pounds and so many, and I give so much credit to women with a platform that say, they airbrushed out my left hip. And, I remember Cindy Crawford, who to me is one of the greatest, if not the greatest of all time, gave an interview once and she said, if you saw the front of me, I looked beautiful and thin and everything. And if you turned me around, there was duct tape all the way down, duct taping my stomach in, my legs in. But they don't show you that side. And so it's this completely unattainable version that we have, especially with social media and filtering, that we as women have to be perfect, or we have to be smaller or lose weight. And what S Factor and this group of women and my friends really taught me is to be more. We have breasts and we have hips and we have shoulders and we have power. And it is our job to stand in that light and to stand in that power. So I am here on this mission. There's actually a page in my workbook that's all about honoring and recognizing, the women in your life. And it talks about who are the people in your life that support you, list the first 3, what are the ways that they support you, how does it feel to have these people support you, and who are the people that you support most. So it's also about celebrating you and what are the ways that you support these people and how does it feel to support them. And can you see how important it is for all of us to support each other and how good it feels? this is how we'll all get to our dreams. So again, that's just the workbook version of my book. So I am so passionate about this topic. I never intended to write a book, but I always said I thought that if I ever wrote a book, the book, I think we just paused because of a bad connection, but nothing's going to break this connection to my mission. But that book would be called The Sacred Wound, and it's how we as women hurt each other far more than our partners and boyfriends and husbands and whoever it is that you love and romantically, gender aside. But as friends, as colleagues, we must lift each other up. And as I said, I am always learning and growing. I have, fallen down. I have let people down, and I have been far from perfect as a woman in this world. So I just want to share that I'm on this mission to awaken us all to our best selves, but to also connect us all to being each other's biggest cheerleader, biggest fan, biggest supporter, the bigger you get, the bigger I support you. And the last thing I'll say that I think has been a huge journey for me is I have struggled deeply with jealousy. I've struggled deeply with envy and feeling insecure because, for me in particular, other entrepreneurs are more established and further along and at a more successful part of their journey. And what I've really worked on flipping is, rather than being jealous, it's being inspired that they're showing me that they can do it. They're showing me that they can build an empire, and they can stand in their authenticity, and they can live in their vulnerability, and they can build a business by just being who they are and having the impact that they want to have. So just because they have it doesn't mean that I can't have it. That's scarcity mindset. Abundance mindset is, because they have it, I can have it too. And so I've really worked to shift my perspective, and believe me, it's a journey every day. So hi, Rima. I love all of you. Thank you guys for joining. I'm on a mission, and I feel incredibly strongly about this unification of women, and that we all rise together by aligning, by having each other's back, by, again, just standing in the battle on the good days, the bad days, the hard days, the ugly days, and just saying, I see you, I have you. And it's unconditional. So I am here for it. A huge shout out to every extraordinary woman in my life. If I didn't mention you by name, you know I love you. The list goes on, and it is a privilege and an honor to have you in my life. So thank you for being on this journey. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for believing in me. And, as my 7-year-old says, when you are brave. And so we are all brave to step into our power, and I'm here to give all of you permission to shine brightly, to go boldly, to speak your truth, to live your best life, because you will inspire all of us to do that when you do. See you tomorrow.